Hello and welcome to the final exhibit from the AmadoraBD Comics Festival in Portugal. This one is dedicated to Stan Lee. It was organized by my local comic shop, Kingpin Books. Owner Mário Freitas already organized 2 years ago the 100th Jack Kirby anniversary. So this one is dedicated to Stan Lee, and it starts with the first things that Stan Lee did after the Atlas implosion, the Rawhide Kid relaunch, with art by Jack Kirby. This is when Jack Kirby finally had an ongoing series after he rejoined Marvel, and it served as the training ground for what later became the superhero revolution. So Stan Lee, obviously a writer and editor, and this one was not written by Lee but by his brother Larry Lieber. It's a monster story from Tales to Astonish number 33. Jack Kirby excelled at the monster stories. So, of course, Stan Lee had noticed at the time that if you put a Kirby monster in the cover, the comics sold more. And that continued to be the case until Fantastic Four debuted, and all of a sudden he had a new hit. So we have several pages here. A few of them came from the Jack Kirby Museum, who owns a lot of stories. Here's the John Buscema art from The Hulk versus the Thing. Here's another monster story. This one is written by Stan Lee. It comes from Journey into Mystery number 94, and it's drawn by Steve Ditko. During the pre-superhero days, Stan Lee actually preferred to work with Ditko rather than Kirby. Kirby did his own thing, usually working from scripts by Larry Lieber, but Ditko came up with his own plots, even without having any direction from Stan Lee, and that meant that Lee only had to receive the material and put in his own dialogue. Yes, around 1963, Stan Lee actually had more input on what he wanted Steve Ditko to draw. And this is an example from it, a story from Journey into Mystery number 94. This is all original art. Now moving on to Spider-Man. This comes from Amazing Spider-Man number 6. It's the first appearance of the Lizard. And here's from number 2. This is the Crime Man. This is the Crime Master from annual number 2. This is a John Romita story from Amazing Spider-Man number 63. We have an appearance by the second Vulture, Blackie Drago. John Romita did not contribute to the plots, unlike Kirby and Ditko, but he was a very important element from Marvel's early days, taking over as a primary artist. He later became director of art. This is from Tales to Astonish number 65, so it's an Ant-Man and the Wasp story. It's drawn by Bob Powell and Don Heck. Heck and Powell took over the art from Ant-Man. This is from Tales of Suspense number 39, first appearance of Iron Man. Jack Kirby did the layouts for Don Heck. Actually, this is from the Avengers number 1. I'm sorry. This is the first appearance of the Avengers. This is Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. The Avengers were not supposed to be a comic. They were only Stan Lee and Jack Kirby only came up with them because Daredevil was late, and so they had to come up with a new series. This is from Avengers number 6, The Masters of Evil, and you see Rick Jones appearing. This is the splash page from Avengers number 13. This one's drawn by Don Heck. Don Heck took over the comic from issue number 9, although Kirby kept on doing the covers. So Heck ended up with more of a direct input on what the Avengers was supposed to be. This is from Avengers number 28. This is the first appearance of the Grandmaster. The team at the time was composed of the Captain America, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. It was called the Cap's Cookie Quartet. We have another page here from Tales to Astonish number 33. It's out of sequence. But we continue with superheroes. This is Daredevil number 1. The comic that was late because of Bill Everett's health issues related to his alcoholism. This is from Fantastic Four #5, first appearance of Doctor Doom. And there was a bit of a fashion to have Sue Storm be pretty much useless in the early days, although ultimately she became a vehicle for Kirby to channel his wife Roz into the character. It's from Fantastic Four #39, his reproduction. This is #66, which is the first appearance of him, who later became Adam Warlock. These are the Enclave and Alicia Masters. There's always Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott during the Fantastic Four's most creative period. This is from number 122, John Buscema and Joe Sinnott. This is 123. Here's Galactus. At the time, Buscema had taken over from Kirby after he had left Marvel. And Buscema was the best to emulate Kirby's style, not as a direct copy, but more as a with the Kirby style for a flair in action. This is from Incredible Hulk #3. It's still a Kirby story. First appearance of the Circus of Crime. This was Astonish #90. After the Hulk was cancelled with issue #6, the feature moved to the Incredible Hulk. I mean to the Tales to Astonish, replacing Ant-Man and Giant Man. This is an Iron Man story from Suspense #56. This is the Unicorn. This is #85, and it features a promo for the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man animated series. This funny thing, this picture is by Gene Colan, so is this one. And although Iron Man is supposed to be somewhat mechanical, it was Colan who was responsible for giving the Iron Man armor the look that it usually had, more of an organic feel to it than the original mechanical look that Jack Kirby came up with. More Gene Colan, this time from Namor. This is Tales to Astonish #80, which I believe is it was 82. I'm sorry, 82 was the first time that there was a crossover moving between titles at Marvel, from Tales to Suspense #82 to Astonish #82. But this is Astonish #80, and the Submariner is usually forgotten when we're talking about superhero features from the Kirby days. This is from Thor #143. Vince Colletta, as usual, ruining Kirby's pencils, erasing a lot of details. This is from Tales of the Watcher, a feature that ran in Tales of Suspense before Captain America took over. Usually they recycled plots from the old monster stories. Cover reproduction from X-Men #1. And there's another cover reproduction, pencils only, from X-Men #4, first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And this is X-Men #9, where the X-Men respond to a summons by Professor Xavier, who is fighting his old foe Lucifer. More Kirby art here. Captain America and the Red Skull. And let's move on with the X-Men. The X-Men were actually the first comic that Stan Lee stopped writing. Roy Thomas took over pretty early in the series.
Está a decorrer no auditório do PIS -1 a apresentação do livro Diário de Migrante com Ana Sofia Gonçalves. Obrigado.
Sorry about that. That was a summons to the new book presentation. I won't be attending it. This is art from X-Men #17. Kirby was still providing layouts, but Werner Roth, who was not my favorite penciler at all, was already ruining. I'm sorry, I dislike Werner Roth immensely. He was totally wrong for superheroes. This is from Strange Tales #148. Doctor Strange story. Bill Everett had taken over from Kirby, coming up with some plots. Danny O'Neill tried out one of his first superhero scripts. O'Neill actually started writing for stuff like this one. Merely the model number 138. Stan only edited. He had already given the book to Danny O'Neill to write, with Stan Goldberg providing the art. This is from Patsy and Hitty number 104. Roy Thomas was writing. Al Hartley was providing the art. Hartley was pretty good. It just never seemed to click with the superheroes, so he was kept in the Patsy Walker books. This is from Ghost Rider number 4. Marvel's second attempt at crossing over superheroes and westerns. The Tugan Kid had already been a sort of superhero with a secret identity. The Ghost Rider actually recycling the visuals from the 1955 Ghost Rider, which is published by Magazine Enterprises and was drawn by Dick Ayers. One more Western, Rawhide Kid number 58. Gary Friedrich wrote. Larry Lieber, Stanley's brother, was on the art. Lieber was pretty solid, although he never had a personality of his own. This is from Not Brand Ech number 8. Gary Friedrich and Tom Sutton. Not Brand Ech was the magazine in which Marvel poked fun at itself, a humor title. And this page here we have an appearance by their humorous character, whose name completely escapes me right now. I'm sorry, I used to remember him. Oh yeah, that's it. Farbush Man, the superhero identity of Irving Farbush. This is usually forgotten when you're thinking about Stan Lee's days with the Marvel superheroes. But it was important because it allowed Marvel to come up with, to fill other niches. Lots of pages here. Of course, Not Brand Ech used to have lots of more than one story because it featured several parodies. This one is a Kirby Galactus, a reproduction. This page from Iron Man number 32, written by Alan Brodsky, who did not stay too long at Marvel. Art still by George Tuska and Mike Esposito. Tuska's art not the best for the late Silver Age, although he was very prolific. He could do lots of pages in 1 month. So that's it. This is the Stan Lee exhibit from the Amadora Comics Festival in Portugal. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.